Lain sekat lah. Lain saya ke? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Good evening everyone. My name is Nur Azana binti Roslan, and today I'm going to share with you guys my informative speech. So my title for my informative speech is important of education. Did you guys know how important education is? If you don't know, oh, you know. All right. I was I still want to share. Okay, before I start my speech, I brought one famous person, which is Khairul Amin. He has a high education background, which is he graduated in overseas with dean list in every semester, and he experienced in many type of occupation after he graduated, such as engineering, logistics, finance, business, include export, import, and so on. And he is being an inspiration, inspire people with his journey of life of his successful. So based on his story, we know that education is important to get involved in many things. So let start with our definition of education. So definition of education is we all know that definition of education is a process of giving and receiving uh, um, um, a systematic instruction at school, university, or classes itself. But in my opinion, definition of education is a purpose- purposeful activity directed at achieving certain aims wherever it happens or and wherever we are. For example, in for example, uh, during we can still get education when we communicate with all people. All people they experience their pastime and can when we talk, we can still get education knowledge with them. So unexpectedly, education. We know that education is important, and we can get the education everywhere. So studies show that. Next slide. Okay, the studies show that literacy rates in Malaysia from 2010 until 2021 show a decrease by 2.74%. Between 2010 until 2021, literacy rates was highest in the year of 2010 and the lowest in the year of 2021. Uh, Next slide. Okay, from that, we know how important education is, and how can education affect our life. So let's move on my point on to our point. So my first point is how education can affect our human life. So education can affect our our method our method of thinking level. So most of the educated people are able to think wisely and professionally when they face with any obstacle, any challenge or any problem. We can see people who did not get their education but still successful in their life with with different way and did not same with other people in their life. They are more in line, will complain and criticize first instead of finding the solution and react with about something with calm and coolly. So now we know that education can affect our thinking, someone's thinking. So my second point is how education can affect our administrative in our country. Um, education can be able our can make our leader to govern our country well. Educated people are able to bring change in a country administrative system. They are able to produce critical and creative idea to make better change to our country. For the example, during our last prime minister presenter, next slide. Okay, for example, during our last prime minister administrative, he is successful brought the country out from COVID-19 pandemic and stabilize with country politics by stabilizing uh, memorandum of understanding of cooperation with the opposition. With the high education and good in handling problem can make our country develop comparable with any foreign country. So that's it for my point. Uh, so the conclusion is education is essential thing in our life at the moment. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. Education is not a choice. There are many things that can help people can help attract people to further their education. And the recommendation is as we know, most of uneducated person do not further their their education because of the cost. So the government should guarantees education for those who cannot afford it, such as the B14 group. So my second recommendation is educator should improve the way of imparting knowledge, teaching skill, knowing interests of the student. For the example, use the colorful PowerPoint or highlight of the studies. Always prepare a gift or present after exercise or practice session. So education is important for our life. It's not a choice at all. So that's all from me. Thank you for presenter and recorder. Okay, thank you.